Hey, camera. Toby Okpara. That's me. So, hey audience, I'm Toby Okpara.
Hey Toby.
And I'm going to tell you all why the drinking age became 21. So, the drinking age is 21 in Texas. It was raised from 18 years in 1971 and 19 years in 1979 and 21 years in 1984. Pretty much back then, the youth was just like, all they did was just drink alcohol. Like, alcohol was just like their main drug. And like back then in America, the youth was just like, people didn't really trust the youth anymore. Like, there's so many things happening. Like, drunk driving incidents were at a high low. It was just affecting the youth brain in general, and it was just making like the youth just become depressed and stuff. So that's why, they raised the drinking age in Texas to 21. And in 1984, the national minimum legal drinking age, written by Senator Frank Lautenberg and influenced by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, required all states to set their minimum purchase age to 21. I would say the National Minimum Legal Age Drinking Act was a big part of why it became 21, but I would say the real reason it became 21 was mostly because of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And that group would always just like, every year would just like pretty much just rage and be like let's change it, we gotta change the drinking age, like it's affecting our youth, like we need to change the drinking age. And finally, like in 1984, it passed. So pretty much America's youth has just been the main reason why I was raised in Texas, and the drinking age is 21 because it reduces drunk driving, protects the youth's maturing brain, and alcohol affects the youth's decision making. So, main reason one, it reduces drunk driving. Drunk driving is still an issue today. I mean, mostly youth today still drink alcohol even though it's illegal at 21, and they're still pretty much the main reason why drunk driving is still at a high low. But back then, I would say like the 70s to 80s, drunk driving was just really, really, really bad. Like, it was probably like the #1 fatality for the youth in America during the time. So like, Mothers Against Drunk Driving had to, had to just complain until like the law actually passed. It states here in Carpenter C. Dawkins, the minimal legal drinking age in crime. It states there that the drinking age in America back then was at an all-time high. So, it protects the youth's maturing brain. So, Our brain from, let's say, 11 to 23, that's when our brains are usually just like maturing. And like any like drugs like alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, drugs like that affects the youth's brain. So especially alcohol. Alcohol is one that affects the youth's brain the most. So it wouldn't be a great idea for like a person from the age from 11 to 23 to be drinking alcohol in the first place. Alcohol is known as a depressant that affects the brain by causing the brain to slow down. So usually when people drink alcohol, they drink it to calm themselves, to relax, to be okay. But like for the youth, that's not okay. The youth should not be drinking alcohol at all. It really messes with their brain. And my study shows that back then, youths weren't like, our generation back then isn't as smart as our youth generation now. And the reason being is because the legal age of alcohol is 21. Alcohol is scientifically made for 25 to 40-year-olds. It's really not meant for the youth in the first place. Really, alcohol in general really isn't meant for anybody. It's just like, there's a lot of health issues coming with alcohol in the first place. So it wouldn't really be the smartest ideas for our youth to be consuming alcohol in the first place. It states here in the minimal legal drinking age of 21 saves lives that the brain, that our brain, fully doesn't mature till 25 to 40 years old. Alcohol affects the youth's decision making. So everyone knows. Okay, so once you drink alcohol, you pretty much just forget yourself. You forget who you are. You forget everything that's going around. You're pretty much just your own person. You just have that, I'm gonna do whatever I want attitude. And usually the youth pretty much already has that I can do whatever I want attitude. So adding alcohol to it wouldn't be great. It's just like, it's not good. Like alcohol, like I said in my earlier slides, alcohol is meant for adults or like people from ages 25 to 40 years old. So, and it really wouldn't even help their decision making in the first place, but it would just be worse on a child if they were like drinking alcohol in the first place. Through the changes in mood and cognition, a person may engage in behaviors they would not consider when sober. Like I said, once alcohol gets in your system, like you forget everything. You forget who you are and what you're doing. You just do whatever you want at like a high level, which is really bad, which is not good at all. And what's it called? It states here in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that alcohol is a depressant, and what's it called? It's not good for the youth brain because it affects the decision making at a high level. And in conclusion, America's youth was affected bad when the drinking age was 18. So what's it called? It's good that they changed the drinking age to 21 because of all these like fatalities back then. If I had to guess, the fatalities would be at a natural high. The drinking age was not 21. And what's it called? Like I said, the drinking age became 21 because of drunk driving, protects the youth's maturing brain, and alcohol affects the youth's decision making. In conclusion, the drinking age is 21 because it keeps our youth in America safe. Thank you.
Great job, Toby. Great presentation.